I'm here with State Representative Geanie Morrison. We are in Victoria, Texas. We just completed a march from the county courthouse, De Leon Plaza, to Our Lady of Sorrows Church, where we just finished a large gathering to commemorate the terrible Roe versus Wade decision. We heard a great pro-life speaker, Jason Jones. A lot of us have heard of him. He's spoken at Texas Alliance for Life events in the past, and it's just been a really great evening. Representative Morrison, thank you for joining me. Tell me a little bit about how you came to be in office.
Well, I came to be in office. I was actually recruited to run by a bunch of business people and friends that recruited me to run the first time.
Okay, and you've been in office for quite a number of years.
So I just finished my 12th session. So, right, I just finished up 22 years, not quite through with this session.
I know the life issue is very dear to your heart, and I remember one of your first pro-life bills was back in 1999, the first in the country. Tell us about that bill.
Right, the Baby Moses legislation. I was actually a freshman legislator, and a gentleman brought it to me, Dr. John Richardson, he was the person that took care of the children at the Edna Gladney home for adoption. And it was something that had weighed heavily on his heart, that he was seeing these children being dropped off in dumpsters by desperate mothers that had no idea what to do. They were in a bad situation. And so he brought it to me. Back then, we had to go to newspapers to find out what was happening, how much was happening. There were a lot of things going on. Houston had a huge amount of babies that had been abandoned. The majority of them had not lived. And so I worked with Dr. Richardson, and we put this bill together, and it was a bipartisan bill. We did have opposition, but we got it through in bipartisan support. We had no idea that we were the first one in the country when it passed, and then the phone started ringing immediately the next day from other states. And so over many years and some changes of the bill, every state, all 50 states, have passed legislation that's similar.
The basic idea, if a mother is desperate, she's pregnant, she gives birth, rather than dumping the baby in some place and the baby dies, this gives that woman an opportunity to place that baby with certain public officials.
So it has to be with an EMT at a fire station. It has to be 24 hours, fire station, hospital. So it's a safe place to where you know that someone will be there and can open their arms and take that baby. It's basically saving two lives. It's saving the mother's life and the child's life. And it was a wonderful experience when we were first putting this together, and the firefighter that was on our board, he said, we have to jump through fires and buildings to save someone. All we have to do is reach out and open our arms and take this child and help it find a home.
Well, that was in 1999, and that was the year we got one of our first major pieces of legislation passed the legislature. The very modest notification that required a physician to notify a parent 24 hours before the abortion. You voted for that. That law, by the way, and then subsequent parental consent for abortion has resulted in a 70 or 80% drop in abortions on minors in Texas. Fantastic. So we thank you for that. We've had so many laws that pass session by session. Tell us a little bit about the successes of this past legislative session, which was in the spring and then special sessions during the summer.
Right. Well, of course, as you know, we have the bill now, that the heartbeat bill, that once a heartbeat is detected, then the doctor detects the heartbeat, and then the abortion is not legal anymore. And so that is going through the courts right now, and we'll see where we end up. We do have other legislation that we passed too. If the courts do decide and change that abortion is not legal, then we have already passed a bill in the state of Texas that immediately goes into effect that says abortions are not legal in Texas.
Yes, and this is the Human Life Protection Act, House Bill 1280, and I don't think that was anything that was difficult for you to support and vote for, and we thank you for that.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. It was, one of those that I don't think had much notoriety, but was done. So if Wade v. Roe was overturned, Texas was already on the books saying that abortion is not legal in Texas.
Yes, and my understanding is just a matter of weeks after Roe is overturned or scaled back, that law will go into effect and start saving unborn babies' lives. Fantastic. Another one I want to thank you for was the appropriation in the budget that added $100 million for compassionate alternatives to abortion, for the highly successful Alternatives to Abortion program. That is, and I know here in your district and here in Victoria, there are pregnancy help centers.
Yes.
Tell us about that, the
Yes.
alternatives to abortion.
Yes, there are. There's numerous help. I mean, of course, the Gabriel Project is phenomenal. There are 2 other projects that they have opened up homes where a young mother that doesn't have any place to go, that can go stay there, have her baby, get the care she needs, and also teach her how to take care of the child and help her make that decision whether she can keep the child or put it up for adoption. But the baby is there with her and safe, and the mother can make that decision what's best for her, but she knows that her baby's going to be fine.
So Texas is protecting unborn babies from the tragedy of abortion to the extent possible under the terrible Roe versus Wade decision. And if Roe is overturned, then we have the Human Life Protection Act, which will then go into effect and completely protect those babies.
Absolutely. And it really looks like, I mean, the Supreme Court's looking at going back to the states to make those decisions again. And so Texas will be in the forefront.
Representative Geanie Morrison from Victoria, thank you so much for your many years of service to the state, for your many pro-life votes, and thank you for just being who you are.
Thank you, Joe. I really appreciate it.
I'm here with County Judge Ben Zeller. Ben has been a friend of mine for many years and has been a friend of the babies for many years. And I say Judge Ben Zeller, he's the county judge of Victoria County, where I am tonight, after a march from the county courthouse to one of the churches, Our Lady of Sorrows Catholic Church, where we had a commemoration of the terrible Roe versus Wade decision. Judge Zeller, tell us about your position as an elected official, as a county judge. What's your position?
Sure. Well, I'm the Victoria County Judge. There's 254 county judges in Texas. It's the Chief Executive Officer for the county. A lot of different hats, a lot of different responsibilities. It's a unique role. There's one in every county, and I'm honored to serve in that role here in Victoria County.
How long have you served as county judge?
It's been 8 years. I'm about to enter into my 3rd term, so time sure does fly.
Fantastic. I know you are very pro-life. You've been at pro-life events in Austin and elsewhere. Why are you pro-life, Judge Zeller?
Sure. Well, the right to life is one of the most basic and fundamental rights that we have as humans, as people created in the image of God, and it's really one of the most important things that we can support today as elected officials, as citizens of a moral and free society. We owe it to everyone out there to support the right to life, especially the right to life of those who can't defend themselves. So every human being is created in the image of God, has intrinsic value, and we have a duty to defend life from conception until death. And so that's very important. That's one of the things that got me involved in politics and in volunteering for causes from a very early age. And now I'm teaching my kids, 5, 7, and 9 years old, about the value of life. And it's something that they understand, even as children. A person is a person, no matter how small. That's something that they understand. And I'm very proud and happy to see a culture of life that's rising up, a new generation here in Texas and throughout the country. So we're happy to see that and happy to participate in this wonderful event here in Victoria tonight.
Victoria County Judge Ben Zeller, thank you so much for being pro-life. Thank you so much for your public service, and thank you for who you are.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Pojman.
I am with Bernadette and Robert Seale. They are the organizers of this wonderful event. We're in Victoria, Texas, and we happen to be right now at the end of the march here in Our Lady of Sorrows Church. But I want to ask a few questions. These folks are super pro-life. They organized a great event that drew hundreds of people, and they have been doing it for a number of years. Robert and Bernadette, what was this event all about, and how long have you been doing it?
Well, it's about pro-life, and we're hoping to see an end to Roe versus Wade very soon. The crowd was great. This is a small town, and so we were very blessed to have this many people here tonight. And
We were also blessed to have Jason Jones with us.
yes.
What a speaker, what a pro-life talk he gave. And yes, we're out here to stand up for life, for the helpless, for the unborn, mostly tonight, for all life, but especially for the unborn and the sanctity of life.
Well, I saw hundreds of people here. I saw older people. I saw middle-aged. I saw a lot of young people.
Yes.
This is a great deal.
Oh, yes.
How long have you been involved in organizing this event?
It's been about 12 years of organizing it. We inherited it, and with God's help, we have had it grow every year, and with the help of the speakers, it sends out the message of pro-life and what we're all about, which is trying to overturn Roe versus Wade.
Now, how long has this been going on here in Victoria?
Well, this is the 35th year for an organized march here in Victoria. Now, I think that it went back a few years before that, maybe 37, 38 years, that this group of couples got together and formed the Family and Life Advocates. And they started a pro-life movement here in Victoria. Yeah.
And I think it's safe to say there's a lot of quite pro-life people in Victoria County, this part of Texas.
There are, and Victoria, for our size, has done very well to protect women and babies. We have the Gabriel Project here, who has material supplies and emotional help. And we also have the Crisis Pregnancy Center, who also counsels, which we volunteer at. Robert's on the board and counsels mothers who are pregnant trying to decide what to do. And now we have the Bethlehem Home, which helps mothers who are in unstable conditions to be able to have a place to live and help them learn how to take care of a family and feed themselves.
Yes.
What's the name of that center?
Crisis Pregnancy Center? Yes. Now that's been here probably 30 years too.
Mm-hmm.
It was organized by a group of ladies, and some of them are still with us, some of them are gone, but yeah, they started it, I think 5 or 6 of them.
Yes, and besides the pregnancy test, the Knights of Columbus, which Robert has been a member, helped provide the ultrasound machine, which helps a mother to see her baby and see that there truly is a baby.
Yeah, it's been proved that 80% of the mothers, when they see that baby, they change their mind.
Well, I guess it's safe to say here in Victoria, you're concerned with both unborn child and the mothers, and you provide great care for both.
Oh, yes, we do.
We're very blessed for a small town to have so many
All the support we have.
outstanding people that want to help.
Well, Robert and Bernadette Seale, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks so much for organizing this great event. Keep up the great work.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much.